Greetings and salutations. This is Miko bringing to you an audio version, the spoken word, of my weekly column on Macedonian matters. The English version is published on Medium.com, and the Macedonian version is published on Svest.mk. This week's column, which is published on Monday, February 18, 2019, is titled, Teach Your Children, Macedonia. We know where the government of Macedonia stands with respect to education in Macedonia and as it concerns Macedonia's rich history and heritage. The government of Zoran Zaev has cravenly caved to the demands of Bulgaria and Greece, and so-called committees consisting of so-called experts from Macedonia and Bulgaria and separately Macedonia and Greece have been and will continue examining Macedonia's school books, history books, teaching guides, maps, atlases, and other materials to find material that is considered offensive to Bulgaria and Greece. Make no mistake, your children's education is in mortal danger, and not just the subjects of history and geography. But the attack on the other subjects is for another time. Right now, let's focus on what we can do, apart from Bulgarian and Greek government-approved history lessons for Macedonia's children. In his 1989 farewell address as he left the U.S. presidency, Ronald Reagan asked Americans, quote, "Are we doing a good enough job teaching our children what America is and what she represents in the long history of the world?" Unquote. It's an excellent question and should not be limited to Americans. Quote, "Are we doing a good enough job teaching our children what Macedonia is and what she represents in the long history of the world?" Unquote. Let me now take the rest of what he said with respect to education in our children and lightly paraphrase it and apply it to Macedonia. Quote, "We've got to teach history based not on what's in fashion, but what's important. If we forget what we did, we won't know who we are. I'm warning of an eradication of the Macedonian memory that could result, ultimately, in an erosion of the Macedonian spirit." Unquote. 30 years ago, he worried that, quote, "well-grounded patriotism is no longer in style," unquote. Again, that was 30 years ago. You and I know what the snobbish elites in the West believe about patriotism these days. They look down on it and those who are patriots. They deride it. They think those who adhere to patriotism are uneducated, uncouth, and uncivilized. They believe themselves above love of country because they have no country. They believe, as, quote, "citizens of the world," unquote, that they are enlightened and entrusted with leading the lesser beings toward the great light of mankind with a capital M. I could go on, but you get the idea. So, we all know that well-grounded patriotism is no longer in style, then and especially now, and we know that the teaching of patriotism and what it means is slipping away in schools. But here's the good news. There is a solution, and I'll apply his words to Macedonia. Quote, "All great change in Macedonia begins at the lunch table. So tomorrow, in the kitchen or dining room or restaurant, I hope the talking begins. And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be a Macedonian, let them know. That would be a very Macedonian thing to do." Unquote. Can this happen? Of course it can. 11 years ago, when we were filming our documentary film, A Name is a Name, we visited Nikola Kotov High School in Skopje and talked to several of the students there. Aneta said,
Сите ние тука сме горди затоа што сме македонци и мојата македонштина е моје чувство, мој флуид, тој е како еден вид на еликсир што ти дава ентузијазам и сила да продолжиш да се бориш, затоа што сите ние сакаме некоја подобра иднина и сите ние ќе имаме подобра иднина, точно да, ама ќе имаме подобра иднина во Македонија. Значи, не оправдувам бегање во странство заради тоа што во Македонија нема перспектива, во Македонија има перспектива. Горда сум затоа што сум македонка, затоа што имаме неверојатно убава традиција, неверојатно убава култура и сме многу воспитан и цивилизиран народ. Ама мислам дека не сме доволно забележани и дека никој не дошол тоа да го види, да не запознае такви какви што сме.
Ivan said,
По името Македонија за нас македонците тоа не може да се опише со зборови. Со тоа се раѓаме и со тоа умираме. Тоа е оставено од нашите предци и ние треба да го продолжиме на наредните генерации. Со самото име Македонија се определува јазикот, нашиот јазик македонски, нашата националност и све друго што е поврзано со идентитетот. без името ние не можеме за ништо да се бориме, бидејќи името е основа за све друго што доаѓа све друго што е обележено на еден народ. Друго, тоа што ние имаме проблем со Грција за името, тоа е веќе политичка фрустрација од страна на соседната земја. Со тоа што тоа го прикрива македонското малцинство што живее во Грција и што не можат луѓето да си ги вратат своите имоти во таа земја. Тие имаат документи за тие имоти, со што ја знаеме граѓанската војна во Грција, што таа е една од големите причини за ова све денес што се случува, каде што се иселени голем број на македонци од страна на егејскиот дел на Македонија.
Smart kids. They're adults now, but I hope that their children will remind them, Aneta and Ivan and others, please teach us, Mom and Dad, what it means to be a Macedonian. The teaching and education of Macedonia's children begins at home, but it doesn't end there. And of course, Macedonia has many wonderful and dedicated teachers and educators and administrators who will do all they can to resist the government's mandated changes. These women and men are dedicated, love Macedonia, and love Macedonia's children. But in the years ahead, this will be a job for all of those who are responsible for the children of Macedonia, starting with parents, grandparents, older brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts and others. And this teaching might need to happen after school and on weekends in informal associations or groups beyond the government's reach. Do you love Macedonia? Do you want to keep Macedonia? Do you want to keep alive Macedonia's rich history, heritage, culture, language, faith, and more? Or better yet, wouldn't you like to see and be a part of a resurgence of Macedonian pride, a reawakening of the Macedonians? Pride in Macedonia's long history, heritage, culture, language, faith, and more. This can happen. This must happen, especially now. We know what Greece and Bulgaria wish to do with respect to Macedonia's children and what they are taught. We know the elites in the government of Macedonia in the West don't care about patriotism or identity, as they seek to remake the world in their image, an image devoid of any uniqueness and only conforming to what they deem to be correct. Teach your children Macedonia. Nurture and encourage them and prepare them for the future battles yet to come. It's time to take back the agenda. I leave you with two thoughts. Number one, there are more good things in this life than you can possibly imagine. Number two, the correct attitude is always gratitude. Thanks for listening.